Hi, my name is Robin Wong and I want to talk about why the camera sales are dropping significantly over the years. Yes, it is so easy for us to blame the smartphones, how the smartphone is dominating the market and why everyone loves the convenience of having just one piece of equipment and not having to bring the camera around. One device to do everything, right? It is the convenience that kills the camera market. And of course, the cameras on the smartphones are improving, they're getting better and better, and it's good enough for general day-to-day photography that we don't really need a dedicated camera anymore. While I don't deny that's being true, there are several other factors that contribute to the declining sales of the camera. I want to explore those different perspectives and different reasons which are very real and how photography landscape has changed over the past few years. We should not place all the blame onto smartphone alone. We should not make a villain out of smartphones. So let's do this. Reason number one why camera sales are dipping over the past few years. The camera development has reached a point of sufficiency. There was a time where the camera technology was developing, the cameras were getting better and better, but at one point during the digital age, it has become good enough for most photography use. We as consumers, we will never be satisfied with what we have. We want something bigger, faster, louder. We want everything to be better all the time. We want more megapixels, we want cleaner high ISO images, we want massive dynamic range. However, if we really look at the cameras that have been released in the past 5 years, there is not a single camera that cannot achieve any photography task that we throw at them and not be satisfied with the images that these cameras can deliver. I'll give you two examples, two amazingly talented professional photographers that I personally know. One wedding photographer. He is an amazing photographer that I looked up to since even before I got serious into wedding photography. He is a highly successful local Malaysian photographer, highly sought after. And you know in 2019, what is the camera that he's using to shoot his wedding? Nikon D700. You heard it right. D700, the first generation full frame DSLR from Nikon. He's not using a D850, not D750, not Z7, none of the new cameras. He's still using today D700. And you know what? His clients are happy with the photographs that he delivers. He's still a highly successful wedding photographer. And in all honesty, the D700 is an amazing camera, even today in 2019. And in wedding photography, you don't give your clients 50 megapixel files, you don't give them 61 megapixel files. You don't need to shoot at ISO 100,000, anything between ISO 3200 with the use of flash or even 6400 with maybe f1.8 or f1.4 prime lenses, you can practically do everything. And yes, my friend told me his D700 was broken. There were problems over the years under heavy use. You know, wedding photographers, we take like thousands of photographs each wedding. What did he do? He didn't just upgrade to a newer camera, he sent the camera back to the service center for repair. Once it's broken, repair again, and he kept using the same camera and he still uses it today and produces amazing photography. I'll give you another example. A local professional newborn baby and family portrait photographer. And she also shoots maternity, amazing maternity shots. Guess what camera she's using? Canon 5D Mark II. Yes, that's right, in 2019, she's still using a 5D Mark II. Not the latest EOS R, not the latest 5D Mark IV, no, 5D Mark II. And if you look at the photograph that she's doing today, my goodness, you will be blown away. If these cameras from so many years ago can deliver fantastic results and professional photographers today still use them to earn a living, why then are any of the cameras that are released in the past 5 years not sufficient for your need? The hard truth is the cameras and the lenses, they have reached a point of sufficiency that they can perform adequately and deliver fantastic results in any shooting scenario. No, there is no perfect camera, there is no one camera that can do everything. Of course, if you are a professional photographer or if you're serious about what you're doing, you will pick and choose the camera and lenses that work for what you're doing. And we are not short of choices when it comes to cameras and lenses in 2019. There is less and less reasons for people to upgrade. There was a time when everyone bought their first digital camera and maybe they upgraded to the next best thing. And after that, you will hit a point where there's vanishing returns. The more you invest, it doesn't mean that the improvement that you invest in will jump in the similar proportion. There are no compelling reasons for people to buy a new camera anymore because whatever that they have today, those who want a camera, they will have bought a camera years ago, and these cameras are already sufficient. That's the reason why the camera sales are declining. Reason number 2, the interest in photography in general is declining as well, hence causing the decline of camera sales. There was a time when the price of digital camera dropped so low and is so affordable that everyone can buy a digital camera. An entry-level DSLR can cost only a few $100s. Everyone wants to jump onto the bandwagon. They are buying cameras not because they are interested in photography, not because they want to explore photography or take photographs. They bought a camera. A lot of people bought cameras because everyone is buying it and they just want in. Peer pressure. If my friend has one, I want one too. If they all have it, I want to have it too. So what happens when everyone jumps onto the bandwagon? When so many people bought cameras at once, the market became saturated, right? There's only so much room that you can target new customers coming to buy new cameras. There'll be a point in time where everyone has a camera. Now you see there are 2 types of photographers. I'm just generalizing, right? This is a very simplified generalization. So there is the photographers who bought the cameras because of photography. They are genuinely interested and passionate about taking photographs, creating art, visual storytelling. They truly want to take photographs. There is the group 1. Then there is the other group. They are just camera users. They are not buying the camera because they are interested in photography. Maybe they want to try it out, give it a chance. Maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't work out. After a while, photography as a hobby, they just lost the excitement. At first, wow, everything is so new, everything is beautiful, everything is exciting. But that excitement will not stay with you forever. If you are truly passionate, you will have that self-motivation to drive yourself to take photographs, regardless of external inspiration, right? You yourself want to go out and take more photographs. Those are genuine photographers. But there are these other users where they don't touch the cameras if their friends don't go out and shoot. And they are the ones that complain that, the cameras are too heavy, it's not convenient to bring it out, it's not worth it in travel, it adds on to the luggage weight. If you are truly passionate about photography, you will never complain about these things. So what happens to these camera users in group 2? After half a year, after a year, or maybe after 2 years, they try to love photography, they really try to get it, but they realize that, hey, maybe photography is not for me, hey, maybe it's too much trouble, this is not what I like to do, maybe it's too much work, and they don't have the inner passion to drive them. That's when they drop off the interest of photography altogether. It may happen suddenly, it may happen gradually over time, but over the past few years, when the bandwagon is full, when everyone is doing photography, when everyone is taking photographs, you will see that once it reaches the peak, the interest of photography slowly declines. And during this decline, it coincides with less purchasing of new cameras and lenses. That is one of the reasons that drove the sales of cameras and lenses down over the past few years. Reason number 3, social media changed the landscape of photography. Now, if we take a few steps back, during the film era, before digital photography, right, before social media took over, if a photographer wanted to be recognized, if a photographer wanted to step up his game, there are a few routes that he can take. One is to get published and, of course, exhibited. Go to a gallery, have your photographs displayed in the gallery, invite people to come and look at your photographs and say, hey, my photographs are up in the exhibition. I've made it, I'm a photographer, I'm tied to the gallery, I'm an artist. However, exhibitions carry a different meaning today. With the arrival of social media, everyone can post photographs online. They can post photographs on Facebook, Instagram. There's online forums, there's online albums like Flickr, right? You can share your photographs freely. Now, maybe in an actual physical photo gallery, you have an exhibition. On a good day, maybe you have 100, 200 visitors the most. But if you made it huge in social media, you'll have thousands of hundreds of thousands of people coming to view your photograph that you post every day. You're having your own exhibition every day. Hence, the way that photography is perceived, the way that people react to photography, the way that people interact with photography, everything is changing. Of course, because everything is online now, we are in a screen world. We look at our laptops, our smartphones, our tablets, our TV. Print is dead. There's less and less published local photography magazines, and not many people print their photographs anymore. After they take the photographs, all they do is share on Facebook and Instagram, and that's how we consume photography now. And social media made another huge change. The content of photography itself has changed. Instead of the photographer taking a photograph of something else, they direct the attention back toward themselves. Look at Instagram, look at the famous celebrities, look at Facebook, look at what all your friends are posting. It's photographs of themselves, selfies, the vacation that they are taking, the food that they are eating, their pet cat, all the wonderful things that they are experiencing, the parties that they go to, or the new hair that they made, or the new dress that they just bought. Everything is about me, 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 me. Photography has become a very selfish, centric adventure. Because photography is no longer about documentation, it's no longer about storytelling, it's no longer about creating art. It's all about shooting yourself, shooting your daily lives, and try to show the world how amazing your life is. The use of camera has become irrelevant. All you need is your smartphone. You don't need to take a 60 megapixel selfie. You don't need ISO 6400 to take a photograph of a piece of a cake. You don't need a super telephoto 600mm lens to take a photograph of your cat. All you need is your smartphone. I'm not blaming this on the smartphone. The smartphone has its place. I personally love smartphone photography. But the fact that social media itself is to be blamed on how the consumers are perceiving photography, or how the consumers are using photography for a different purpose. It's because of this shift of purpose, the shift of the popular content in photography, that actually made the camera less relied on, and they were definitely used much less frequently over the years. I don't see this culture of me, me, me going anywhere anytime soon, and I don't think that the camera sales will be picking up because of this. My final reason for why the camera sales are declining: photography as an art has become stagnant. This may come as a very harsh critique to all the current photographers, including myself. There is nothing new in the art of photography today. Photography as an art has not evolved for many, many years. Now, before we look too deep into photography, let's look at all other art forms. Take a look at fashion, film and television, music, even writing itself. Everything changes over time. There is a distinct look or a distinct trend that happens maybe in the 40s or 50s, which will be different from the 70s or 80s, and what we have today will be drastically different as well. The style of music, the fashion that we wear, the direction of the movie. We don't get so many superhero movies in the 60s or 70s. We don't get so many CGI-driven television or movie in the 80s or 90s. Everything changes. But photography as an art form, it doesn't move so much. I'm not saying that it's perfectly unchanged. Yes, there are minor changes there and here. But typically, look at the photographers that have cameras. What do? They take photographs of sunrise, sunsets, portraits of beautiful ladies. These are photos that have been taken by our forefathers of photography in the 40s, in the 50s, in the 70s. Even today, we are still doing the same thing. Look at the legendary photographers, people who defined the age of photography. People like Henri Cartier-Bresson, Richard Avedon, Ansel Adams, Martin Parr. These people dared to challenge the norm, they pushed the boundaries, they tried something new, something radical, something that was completely unheard of or unseen of during their time, and they reshaped the history of photography. What do we do today? We just look at those examples, we copy them, we try to imitate as much as we can, and we claim that we are great photographers. I have not seen truly great photographers today or truly original content that have not been done by other photographers or any of these greats before. Yes, photography as an art form has not moved on much. We are stuck in an era. I'll give you a very quick example. I did a street photography video showing myself in action shooting photographs on the street. You can check out the video here. In that video, I had a few different street photography approach. One, I went straight into the stranger. I took portraits of them, I approached them, I talked to them. The other, I took everything perfectly candid. I didn't touch anything. Everything was left unpolluted. The scene was shot as is. Now, some people came to me and told me, Robin, what you're doing, these are not called street photography. You know, you're not supposed to talk to your subjects. You're not supposed to take portraits of strangers. These are just portraits. These are not street photography. That's the problem. Who made these rules? You know, to my understanding, street photography means photographs that's taken on the street. It's a form of documentation. Whether I interact with my subjects or not, that's a rule up for discussion, up for debate. Who are you to tell what's right and wrong? Because we are so restricted to these rules. You must do this, you must do that. We don't progress, we don't improve, we don't get better. The art form stays stagnant. Come on, photography is an art form. Art is meant to be challenged. The rules are meant to be broken. Dare to push boundaries. Do something that people never think of. Do something that people disagree with you. That's what art is supposed to be. It's not about following rules, doing something that has been done before like a million times. Do something different. Hey, to be fair, what I've just said, all these apply to myself as well. I do need to challenge myself to be better, and I hope you take it in a positive way. Because people don't see photography as an art form, people don't challenge it anymore, people don't truly want to do photography for the sake of the craft. Why do we even need a camera anymore? There is no need for a camera. Everything can be done with a smartphone. It's just snapshots. I'm sorry, a lot of the content I see online these days, they are mere snapshots. They are not photographs. So there you go. I've shared my reasons why the camera sales or the camera interests are declining over the years. How do we solve this problem? I don't think we can. What we can do as individuals, my suggestion is to come back to the core of photography. Ask yourself, why did you pick up the camera in the first place? Why did you fall in love with photography? What drives you to pick up the camera? What makes you click that shutter button? Remember the excitement. Remember the passion. Use the passion. Bring the camera out and take more photographs. Because the more photographs we take, the more we use the camera, the more we inspire other people. The more we inspire other people to see what the true core of photography is. Why photography is such an amazing craft. Why we love it so much. Then more and more people will pick up the camera. Then the existence of the camera will not die. Be true to yourself. Shoot what you love. Rediscover photography. Photography is supposed to be fun. There is that thrill every time you use the camera. The process of shooting should be fulfilling. Hence, I encourage everyone to do shutter therapy. We can blame the camera companies for not innovating fast enough. Oh, you know, the cameras are the same over and over again. We can blame the smartphones. However, take a look around in the social media. Take a look around at your friends. How many true photographers do you see today? How many truly great photography are being shared out there? I think together, we can bring back the joy of photography to the world. If you have liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you have more thoughts to share about this topic, please leave them in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. If you'd like me to do more contents that is non-Olympus related, I admit there were many Olympus specific videos I've made that I've posted over the past 1 or 2 months. I also enjoy talking about photography in general. Let me know. Until the next video, again, may I remind you to pick up the camera, to go out and take more photographs. Bye-bye.